Hello YouTube, Josh here with the channel zzzgiantawake. So we started a conversation on rights on the Breakfast Club. And what was weird is the amount of negative responses that I got. I wasn't expecting that because it felt a little more like I was doing a report on what I know, not talking about something controversial. Also, I got a few negative comments that I also wasn't expecting from people who I wasn't expecting them from. Primarily, again, the one I wanted to talk about most, just like the original video, was about as a response to Got That Funk. And I'm driving while I record this, if that isn't obvious. So, may have to pause here and there. I wanted to start by talking about some history of philosophy, kind of like what some ideas of philosophy are, to give some context to the video that I made on the Breakfast Club, because I felt that, again, I wasn't really saying anything controversial, but doing a report. Also, people felt that my video was possibly convoluted, so I wanted to try and make it less convoluted by including more information, and I left a lot of information out because I wanted to keep it under 10 minutes. Since early philosophy, essentially Socratic on, Plato put this idea out there that for an object or for a thing to be what it is, has to meet certain criteria and essentially have the essential properties. Such as, you can have a knife without an exotic handle, but you cannot have a knife without a blade. Its essential property is the blade. Now, for Plato, humans had essential properties, and the question of ethics and the question of morality was what, in essence, makes a human human. Now, Plato is nowhere near the only person who tried to answer that through the history of humanity. The most famous modern philosopher to have an impact on the subject, and he's a political philosopher, his name is John Locke. John Locke felt that essential properties of humans was life, liberty, and property. John Locke considered what were the essential properties of man. And that's how he came to the concept of life, liberty, and property, is that those things are so fundamental to the human nature that to try and take that away from a man is to attack the essence of his or her being. So now I want to talk about natural versus legal rights. Natural rights are like the rights that John Locke was talking about. Life, liberty, and property. He thought that those were natural, inalienable rights, as an unable to be removed from the person. And he didn't necessarily mean like unable to be removed from the person, but it would go against the nature of what it means to be human to have those removed from you. So for a government to try and remove those rights, or to not recognize those rights, would be a great error, a great wrong. As far as legal rights go, legal rights are the rights that are granted to us by the government, and they vary from state and county. The concept of legal rights really aren't that abstract. Legal rights seem to very definitely exist. The reason I know this is because I can go to a courthouse and see the law being practiced all the time. And now legal rights are the rights that are absolutely granted to you by the government, not some abstract concept about God or nature or anything like that. All it takes is a government. Now, maybe you think this is all just sophistry, and look at that sky. Now, you might consider this all essentially sophistry and wordplay, semantics, but it's more than just that. These concepts, these political philosophies have been something that have been discussed for a long ass time, and they have real world ramifications. So you might think that, again, this is just talk at this point. What you're saying doesn't have any huge implication or application to my life, and they're just really abstract concepts. But where laws and rights get their teeth is through what are known as remedies. I think I have the right to go down the road without injury from other drivers, and in almost every situation when a driver's found at fault, I have the right or the ability to seek a remedy. All I have to do is prove duty of the other driver to drive safely, breach of that duty, causation and injuries, and then I get my remedy. And that's how most things are taken. It's not that the government can't take your rights away, it's just the government is also given remedies for when your rights are violated, making them absolutely real. So to recap the video, I just wanted to go over everything that we talked about in a short summary and hopefully get things understood. So in this video I talked about legal rights as being understood as by John Locke as life, liberty, and property, the most fundamental ones. They are inalienable in his mind. And that doesn't mean that to say that your rights can't be violated. Of course they can. But that's to say that those rights are so core to our who we are that to try and take them away would be to take away our humanity. They're essential properties of us. I also talked about natural rights versus legal rights. Legal rights are the ones that are absolutely given to us by our government. Thinking that life, liberty, and property may be natural rights, it would be weird for any politician to think that the right against unlawful search and seizure was a natural right, because it wouldn't have been included in our natural state. It's not core to who we are. And so rights like that have been given to us, granted to us by the government. And then I also talked about rights and remedies. Remedies is where we really have the teeth to practice our rights, to say, I have a right, I'm going to practice this right, and then I file a paper or talk to the police, and there's a remedy there that has been granted to us by our government. So, I hope that this clarifies my position a little bit. I'm hoping to have a second part to this up tomorrow where I recap what I was trying to say in the last video. Thanks.